Hi, I am Nico. I am 11 years old, turning 12 next month, happily. And I love playing soccer. I love running, so I'm going to do track next year.
Hi, I'm Egan. I'm 14. I love tennis, but I love swimming even more than tennis.
Hi, I'm Ella. I'm 15. I love to run, I love hiking, and I love puzzle solving.
Hi, I'm Dihar. I'm the dad to these 3 kids. I grew up on a farm in a small town in Texas, and now I'm a geneticist for the Texas Parks and Wildlife Department.
Hi, my name is Trudy. I love to read and to be outside. I'm a former teacher, and now I run a nonprofit that helps give scholarships so that high school students can make their way to college.
So one of the things you guys asked us for was to tell you a story, a funny story, about one of our family adventures. So I'm gonna let Nico start this story.
So since our regular vacation that we usually take was canceled, we decided, well, we're going to go somewhere where we can go fishing and have fun. And it was the last day of this trip, well, the day before, and we're like, you know what, we haven't tubed this river at all. Well, there was a river behind our house, and we hadn't tubed it at all, so we're like, we might as well do it today. And we're like, oh, it's only 20 minutes long, like 2 miles, and soon after we went, we realized that that was not the case.
So Dihar had looked at the map. My sister had looked at the map too because they were there staying with us in New Mexico. And we thought it looked like it was a pretty tubable area. It looked like it would take us a little while, maybe 30 minutes max. And then we would have my brother-in-law come and pick us up in the car, and everything would be just fine.
Yeah.
This turned out not to be the case. So we started our river tubing adventure. Pretty nice. It was very smooth, and it was just a regular adventure. And then we met some rapids and some debris, and at each time there was some fallen down trees, we'd have to go to the other side of the river and vice versa. And one of these times, I couldn't get to the other side fast enough, and my tube got capsized with me in it, shooting me out the other side, and it was an experience.
Yeah, the tube ended up stuck underneath a bunch of debris. Ella went one way, her hat went the other way. One brother went to help her, the other brother went to catch the hat. Dihar jumped out of our double tube to help all of them. I just kept going on down the river, trying to make my way over to the right side as fast as I could. Finally, we were able to get that all taken care of, but then Ella's tube was basically half deflated. So, good guy that he is, Egan says, he would take the half-deflated tube, and the rest of us would ride in our regular tubes the rest of the way.
So basically, my half-deflated tube, it works, kind of, but not really. So whenever there was rapids and the rocks were really shallow, you just bump the whole way down. And so it was just horrible. So I just decided to swim along and hop out of my tube.
Yeah, half the time Egan swam along during the rapids. The other half the time, he jumped on top of mine and Dihar's double tube.
Yep.
We made it work because that's what we had to do. The problem was we really had no idea how long this trip was going to take. We thought it was like 30 minutes. This trip ended up being 3 hours long. It was getting dark, it was getting cold. Nico was shivering and freezing and wanting to be out of the water. All of us basically wanted to be out of the water. We finally saw a big bridge, and Dihar can talk about that.
Well, we tried to scramble up to the top of this bridge to see if it was a potential takeout point where we could just go home early, but there was no shoulder on the highway, so getting out early wasn't going to happen. So we had to get back in the tubes, which we all did except for Nico. Nico decided he did not want back into his tube, and it took us a while to convince him to get back in. He finally did. We went on our way down the river. We really didn't know how long it was going to take us to complete the trip. It was starting to get dark, but we finally did see the dam approaching, which we had seen on the maps before, but we didn't know how big it was or how swift the water was there. But we were able to get over to the side, get out of the water before being swept over the dam. And then once we were on land, we could call our quarantine back at the house and say, hey, we're ready to be picked up. And when they showed up, the boys said, man, this must be what it's like on Naked and Afraid whenever that extraction team comes and gets them at the very end.
And this is just one of our many adventures. So some other places we've been are Texas and Colorado and New Mexico, and in all of these places we've been multiple times, and we love to go hiking there, and it's always a different fun adventure that we have.
Yeah, Dihar and I have done some extensive backpacking through Colorado and through Yellowstone. Those were some pretty crazy trips too. Longer trips than the kids have been on their backpacking experiences.
We went to Puerto Rico and we backpacked through rainforest and we went on zip lines and we went rock climbing.
And surfing.
Yeah, surfing too.
Yep.
Yeah, we also have gone to Eleuthera, and there we were fishing for sharks, and sometimes it would get so dark and we wouldn't realize it would get high tide, and there were sharks swimming all around us, and we were like, we have to get out of these mangroves really quickly.
Yep. We caught sharks, but we released all those sharks that we caught. We've also been to Costa Rica, where we hiked in the cloud forest, and we went surfing at Playa Grande, which is near Tamarindo. And then we also hiked in France, in the Ardèche forest in southern France, and then in the tundra of Mont Blanc.
All right, so why do we want to go on this adventure?
There's a lot of reasons, but it mostly has to do with Nico over here.
So I always want to go to this one day, just go into the middle of some forest and just be there and like camp out and just have a lot of fun.
So Nico has always wanted to do two things. One was go to Hawaii, and two was go to the middle of the wilderness, deep into the wilderness, and stay there. So we were actually gonna finally do Hawaii this year, but COVID canceled our trip. So we canceled those plane tickets, and we told Nico, well, we're not gonna be able to do that this year, but maybe these guys will send us deep into the wilderness.
So we're hoping we can use our skills like navigation, fire building.
We're good at building
Knots.
shelters, tying different knots,
Fishing.
acquiring food
Yeah,
via
lots
fishing.
of that.
Yeah,
Lots of
we're
fishing.
hoping we'll be able to use all of those skills on this adventure since we weren't able to take our other one.
So anyways,
That is it.
we hope you guys enjoy our video. See you later.
you.
Bye!